Hi dear students, welcome again to ReactJS class. In a previous session, we learned Introduction to ReactJS, where we see what is ReactJS and why learn ReactJS. In this session, we are going to learn how to create the first React app and run it, our first project, with the hello dear students. And second, we are going to see the folder structure of our application. Now, a React app can be created in two ways. The first is using npx with the following steps. You go to your terminal and you type this word here, npx create React app, then you write the name of the project you want to create, or using Node Package Manager, you first install create React app with the flag G, which is global, through terminal, and then you write create React app, then project name. I recommend you use the npx. That is the easiest way. Now, I have one trick here I need to teach you. What is that trick? Created in my React application and name it, and it's inside a React class. How did I do? The first thing, I created a folder in a desktop and name it React class. Then I open this folder using my VS Code. After open this folder using my VS Code, I went to the terminal as we saw from our slide there. Then here you'll have a terminal where you can write that command npx, then create dash react dash app. Then you write the name of your app here. For example, my app, if this is the name you wish to write. Now, when you do such a thing, and already you have created your folder, meaning that your folder will have two folder. You will have the first folder called the class React class, and the second folder inside of it, which will have your project called my app. So I didn't want to have such kind or such way of having two folder within a project. So I decided to have only one folder that within it has my project. So what I did, did this trick on here. So after space, I put dot, then I press enter. So it installed me, or it has downloaded me my project of React inside the React class. So this is how you can install your first React app easier in that way. Okay, so after knowing how to create our React app, now we need to learn how do we run this React. So you go here to your terminal as normal. Let's take it off here. We write Node Package Manager, then we write start. This is how we start our project. So we have to wait. It's depend on your internet speed, but this is how we start our project. So as it moves on, later we are going to see a folder structure on our React. Now, to my left hand side here, as you see, we see here we have in our root folder, which is okay. Thank you very much. Now here we can see this is our app. It's up and running. It says hello dear students. How this hello dear students come, I'll show you, my dear students. It's very simple. I'll talk it now. I'll speak it later. How did we get that hello students? Now when we see here, we have three folder in our root folder React class. We have node module, we have public, and we have source, and then we have these files here. So we are going to discuss each one here. Now the first one here, this is node module, which contain all of our dependencies. So when I expand this, you can see here we have a lot of dependencies, all they're inside here. And this node module, it's generated when we run our application. So when you create your application here, that means it will come with these folders here. Now the public folder contains three folders, but depending on the version of React you have at that moment. But at this moment here, we have more than three files here. We have favicon.icon, we have index.html, and we have this image files, and we have manifest.json, we have robotics.txt. So a favicon, this is a file that contains an image of our React application. What's this image? When you go here, we see this one here. This is favicon, we see. Okay. Now we have the index file here. We have now the index file, we say, is the only HTML file you are going to have in React application. This is what we say a single page application. This file here, it's the only HTML file that you are going to see. Okay. Now in this file here, we are normally advised that we are not supposed to change anything inside our body tag here. This, as already we have been told that React has to do something for us. We tell it something and it do for us. So the only changes that can be made within an index.html file and a public folder, we might change this title here. In the previous here, it has a React app here that has a well React app. So you can change anything. I changed it here and write my app. So when I come to my browser here, this one, it has been displayed. For example, let's we do together and see by yourself. Let me write something different here and write React here class. Okay, and let's see the browser. Okay, here React class. So those are the things that you can change. Another thing you can change is, for example, you are creating someone application. Okay, you can't leave this favicon icon here. Okay, so you'll find that company or a customer has its own icon here, so you use its icon or his icon. Sorry. So you will come here this way. Here you can change this favicon icon here. Now we say we need React to control the UI, and for that purpose, sorry, we want the div tag ID root responsible for the user AI, this one here. Okay, so that's why we don't need to change anything from here. Now this folder here that we call the manifest, we say concerning with the responsive progressive web app, which is out of our scope for our discussion. So we cannot discuss much about this one here. This one here are the images, folders, files, this one, and also this one here is what we see from here. Let's see it. This one here, that's what we see from there. Okay, so this is what we call about public folder. Okay, after we have seen the public folder here, let us jump to a source folder. We say a source folder has some files. We have index.js files here. This one here. Specify a root component, which is also hub and the DOM element, which will be controlling our React. This one here. Okay. Folder structure, public. We have discussed about a public folder. It contains 5 files, but I said depending on the version of the version of the React app that you have downloaded. It have this favicon index, manifest.json, SAS logs. It has robot.txt. We have not discussed this one here. Let me discuss about it. Okay, So this we say this robots. How does this robots work? This is very simple. That it work. Uh, I can say like security, some sort like that. So we say it work like a robot wants to visit a web. For example, it wants to visit this web here. But before it does, then this slash robots should find this thing here first, which has the meaning that the user agent means this section applies to all robots, so has no problem. But if it comes to this one here, disallow, tells the robots that it should not visit any page of on this site. Okay, so in the other versions, earlier versions of React.js, you will not find this one here. But in the previous, but in the earlier version, like the latest version here, you can see it has the robots.txt. Now, as we dip on a source folder here, uh, we say that specify a root component, which is the app and the DOM element, which can be controlled by the React. Okay. Now we have the app.js. We say is the file responsible for HTML display in a browser. In other words, the app component represents the view we see in the browser. So the app.css is a file generated when you run a React app. So also this deals with the styles. App.test.js, this is a unit test when you need to test it. Already you have built your project and you need to test each unit and see if there is anything wrong before deploying your project. It's when you run the unit testing. Index.css is a file for applying styles to the body tag. Setup test contain jet test runner. This one we ignore, we'll learn it later. And service workers concerned with the progress web app, and also this one we'll learn it later. Now, this is all about source file. Now, when you get back that are inside our root folder here, we have this git ignore, we have this package.json, and we have this one here, package-log.json. We have package.json and we have read.md. Now, what are these folders? Normally, we have platforms that we can put our applications online, meaning that when it comes, your computer has crashed or your computer does not work anymore, meaning that you have not lost everything of your own. So you can download your projects and reuse it. Or if you need to integrate your project with other platforms, so that maybe you're working from a remote and you need your customer to see the progress of the work that you have did. As the last session I show you the project that I created. Okay, it's in GitHub and I linked it to another Netlify platform. So when I code everything and I upload it, meaning that a customer can see it. So the git ignore, we don't need to push everything to our git. For example, a node module here that we see is a very big file, and we have seen that it is being generated when we run up the React application. Okay, so meaning that if I have taken an example, my computer has crashed. Okay, and I needed to have another application that I will run my files from the GitHub. That means I will install a new version of React, of which it will come again with this node module. That's why here from our .gitignore, it's in our list that we don't need it. So this is the function of this file here. Package-log.json. This is a tree that creates our files. When we run the create file here, we have a tree that will come up with a lot and with everything that is within our application. Okay, so this is just a tree that shows everything within. Okay, so this package.json, it contains dependencies and scripts. Okay, script that contain has a start scripting. Earlier we saw how to start our application. We write just npm start. Okay, so this script works. For example, we need to build it will come to this script, we test it, and everything comes here. So the package.json here will contain all of our dependencies. We have what we call React strap, for example. So if we need to use React strap, meaning that we need it to install its dependence. So when we install its dependence, it will come under here. So it will come in this what? Package.json. Now we have this here, readme. Readme here, this file normally you are going to see it when you create your first repository for the project. So this one here, it will be uploaded to the GitHub. So in a GitHub, for example, you need to write maybe a license that this repository that has been created, blah blah blah. You have the information of the one who has been created. Then you can clean up all these things here that you see and write the stuff of you as you wish to. So this is the function of this file. Now we have seen how to create our React app, how to run a React app, and we have seen the whole folder structure and the file structure to a root folder here. We have discussed the inside of our source folder and see each one here. Last I told you that we saw this application, a Hello Dear Student. How did I accomplish this? Now, this one is being accomplished inside of the app.js. I'll explain to my recap everything about these things, about how these things come until we see the Hello Dear Student. This word has been written inside here of this p tag, and it has been returned from here within our function here. Okay, now how these things work? We say when you run a command npm start, index.html file is saved in a browser. This file here, which is inside a public, this folder, is saved in a browser. The index.html contain a root DOM node, this root here. Okay, we see, of which I've told you, you don't need or never touch anything inside this body tag here. Okay, so next thing, controls enters the index.js. So after here, from public and from for index.html, then goes here. Okay, so we say the React DOM render the app component into the root node. Okay, so here inside index, the React DOM here, this render the app. Okay, so the app.js component contain HTML. This app here .js contain this HTML here, which is then displayed in a browser. So this is how Reacting work. So we are going to work a lot inside this file here. Our every components we are going to create inside of this source folder here. Thank you for watching this video. If you have any question, any doubt, please write down a comment. Don't forget to subscribe and put on your notification so when I upload the next lesson, you can be able or earlier to know. In the next session, we are going to learn on components. Thank you, my dear students. See you